Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Adam. I'm the editor-in-chief of The Fifth Person, and today in this roundtable discussion, we're going to discuss our favorite, stocks that we're looking at this point in a post-pandemic world. All right, because we know there's announcement of a vaccine recently by Pfizer and Moderna. So in this roundtable discussion with me, I have Rusmin.
Hello everyone.
Victor.
Hi everyone.
And Kenny.
Hello.
We're all from The Fifth Person. So we're going to talk about, the stocks that we're looking at right now. So as you know, Pfizer has announced their very successful vaccine trial for Covid-19 and Moderna as well. So a lot of interest has gone into the stocks that are going to benefit from a very successful vaccine, and we can start moving around and going out in the world and all that again. So we're going to start giving investment ideas and what you could possibly look at out there. So no recommendation, but we just do this discussion as kind of like an idea generation kind of thing. So guys, what do you think is going to happen once this vaccine is going to be successful? I think we're going to start with the industries you want to look at. So a lot of industries have been hit by the pandemic, over the past year or so. So what industries do you think are going to benefit the most once this vaccine is going to, all these vaccines are going to roll out?
I think the most obvious one is going to be travel,
Yep.
right? So travel is going to be companies like cruises, Royal Caribbean, and then you have airlines, right? You have Singapore Airlines, and also you have airports services that they can actually provide, like Beijing Capital International Airport. And also you can also probably look at some of the aircraft manufacturers that potentially could benefit once people start to travel and they start to order aircrafts.
Yeah, so travel is a big one because I think everyone's like just waiting to get out of their country and just
I can't wait to travel.
and travel is pretty obvious, but what
Yeah.
other industries are going to benefit from a vaccine most of all?
Probably hotels, and you
Okay.
can think about Hilton and Marriott. Even right now, they tend to benefit from domestic travels, but at the same time, it really makes a difference if travel were to resume, and then more volumes of tourists will start to go to their hotels and basically.
Okay, so but that's still in travel, kind of like. But what else do we have?
But for me, I think it's like the cinema industry where people are not going to the cinema right now because of the COVID situation. And of course, the cinema industry is not doing so well is because there's not a lot of blockbusters movies coming out in the pipeline and all this. So all these movie production companies are also going to be in a pipeline for recovery when the COVID-19 recovers.
Yeah.
And other entertainment industry like casino, people will start to go to the casino and start to gamble. Yeah, so eventually these are the companies or sectors that will probably start to recover along the way.
Okay.
And of course, once people start to go out more, industry like transportation will also start to recover. People will start to go out and they take public transport. So transportation companies like ComfortDelGro or even the MTR, which is listed in Hong Kong Stock Exchange, that will possibly going to benefit from this recovery. Okay? Because at this stage, the people who take the public transport are actually generally about 50% of the pre-COVID level. So there's still a long way to go. So I think hopefully the vaccine is going to be successful, and then we all can start to go out even more. Yeah.
And another one in particular is basically the financial sector. You can think about banks because once the vaccine comes about, investors will have more confidence in the banks because it actually decreases the provisions for loan losses as well as the bad debt that will come out as the crisis, the COVID-19 crisis drags on. And aside from that, I think credit card networks will tend to benefit from this, Visa, Master, as well as American Express, because a large chunk of their revenue or the spending will actually come from cross-border spending. So that will resume.
I've actually been swiping my credit cards even during the pandemic.
But then spending is going to go up because once this pandemic is under control, people are just going to spend more again, right? Because the economy is going to be better. Then of course, payment solutions like Visa, Mastercard, they're just going to benefit because people are the economy is just going to be a bit more robust again.
So travel is going to be a big part of the big ticket items for I think credit card. So when I book my hotel, it usually costs a lot more as compared to I just shop at the e-commerce platform.
Right.
Yeah.
So we kind of reeled off kind of a few industries, but I want to just list them down. So we have travel, we have cinemas, retail, transport, payments. They're all going to do well. So these are a few of the industries that we nailed down at this point. So what we're going to do right now is because all these industries, we kind of know that they're going to benefit from a post, pandemic, the vaccines are successful and all that. So we're going to look at the companies within these industries, which are the particular companies or stocks that we're looking at in each of these industries, and what we're looking at, what we're interested in at this point. So probably we could start with Victor. I think cinemas are a big thing because we've not been to a cinema for a long time.
Yep.
A really, really long time. Everyone's been streaming, staying at home and all that. So I think a lot of people are going to be interested to go back to the movie theaters and enjoy a movie a day out in the movies and all that. So movies are going to, cinemas operators are going to like benefit from the vaccine. Which company within this industry are you looking at?
Okay, so one company that I'm looking at is this company called Major Cineplex. This company is listed in the Thailand Stock Exchange. So basically, it's a very experiential type of cinema companies, because you go over there, it's not only to watch movie, there's also bowling and karaoke over there. So because of this COVID-19 situation, it's have affected their business, and you can see literally their revenue is half, and their profits actually basically went into the negative regions. So I can expect that when the vaccine is out, right, people will start going back to the cinema industry, because of course now you want to go to the cinema and watch movies, right? There's not much of a nice movie to watch, because all the blockbuster, like I said, the movie production is holding back on all their pipelines, and because if they were to show their movie right now, nobody is watching it.
I really wanted to like catch Wonder Woman 1984. I think that was I wanted to watch that, but they just kind of like just didn't release it because no one's going to be in the cinemas.
Yep, you're right. So I think Disney tried to do it and release on the cinema. They released the Mulan and they tried to release it on their Disney Plus, but after that, I think it's a flop,
The movie was a flop.
The movie was flop.
the movie
Disney
was a flop,
Plus was a big hit.
But Disney Plus is doing very well.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the biggest concern that I think you guys may have is actually that what happened if everything is go online streaming, right? Because Disney actually posts the Mulan in the Disney Plus. You just need to pay a fee and just watch it at the comfort of your own home.
Yep.
But I think in the US, that may be a threat. But in Asia especially in Singapore or in Thailand, people are still have the trend to go to the movie theater, because I mean, especially in Singapore, if you don't have the movie theater, I think there's nothing much to do in Singapore already, right? So for me, it's before the post-COVID actually happened. My wife and I, we always like to watch movies. So every 2 weeks, we will just go to the cinema and catch a movie and see what nice to watch and all this. And it's very experiential, right?
But this is assuming that people get vaccinated and it's a safer, right? Because at this stage, I'm not going to cinema as well, because I don't want to be contained in the same room and then using the same air that is being circulated on again and again.
Correct. So that's why you see that the cinema industry have not really recovered. Even though the vaccine news came out, some of the stocks went up, but the cinema don't went up as much,
So Major Cineplex, this is a stock that you're talking about. They're in Thailand. Just mainly in Thailand, right?
Yeah, correct.
So I think that comes to question whether, because like we all said just now, streaming could be a threat to the cinema. People will just choose to stay at home and watch a film rather than going to the cinema to watch it. But is that the case in Thailand? Do the Thais still go out? I think you mentioned that a little bit. And, I think for me, certain shows you still want to watch in the cinema, right?
Yes, correct.
Like blockbusters. I can't imagine watching Avengers on a laptop screen. I have to go to the cinema, experience the sound, the experience. And I still remember when everyone cheered when Thor entered the scene. That was one of the most epic moments in movie history, and I don't want to miss that. So certain movies just had to be in the cinema. So in the case of Major Cineplex, the Thais still kind of like want to visit the malls, like we visit the malls in Singapore.
Correct. I think in Thailand, right, their malls, their Cineplex are still very popular for all those youngsters to go, for them to gather with friends. I think Thai people don't like to be very inclusive. They like to mix around with their friends. They go out. And of course now, especially in Thailand, their cinemas are doing much better than Singapore cinemas, because they are much more experiential. Like I said earlier, it's no longer just going there watch movie. There's a lot of other things that you can do in the cinema area, then which is like your bowling and your karaoke. And after that, they entice you to go and watch a movie.
All right.
And so that's after the protest, right?
So they go to the protest, then they go to the mall.
Correct. Also partly because the Thai cinema business have not been recovered, because there's also some slight protests in Thailand right now also.
Okay,
right.
But you think Major Cineplex is gonna definitely recover much stronger once this vaccine is successful and all that? All right, so that's one investment idea we're kind of looking at. So since we're on the topic of cinemas and malls, let's talk about retail. right? Because I think people want to go out and shop again. I think we've been shopping more or less, but I think footfall in Singapore is kind of like still maybe 50 to 70% of pre-COVID levels, right? But once the vaccine is successful, we could expect probably people that are more comfortable going out, hanging out in the malls. Maybe you don't need to do the safe entry and all that. So what about retail? In the retail industry, any stocks you're looking at?
I'm actually looking at REITs actually. And this is one of the biggest REITs in Singapore, CapitaLand Integrated Commercial Trust. I mean, CapitaLand Mall Trust have just merged with CapitaLand Commercial Trust, and they have created so far the biggest REITs in Singapore. Okay, so this is a REIT that own both retail and office space in mainly in Singapore. So retail, I mean, as you all know, at the peak of the pandemic in the month of March, May, generally, I think 80% of the Singaporeans didn't really go to visit the mall. Okay, I mean, this is based on the stats. But post-pandemic world, I think generally the traffic has been bouncing back. In fact, during the phase 2 that we are looking at, traffic generally has hovering between 70 to 80%. But if you're looking at some of the suburban malls like FCT, Fraser Center Point Trust, they already reached almost, in terms of spending, almost near to the pre-COVID level. Okay, so the reason why I'm looking at CapitaLand Integrated Commercial Trust is because they are still yielding at a very attractive yield level at around 6%. If you look at the historical past 10 years, generally CapitaLand Integrated Commercial Trust usually hover between 4% to 6%. Okay, so at the current roundtable discussion, I think the REITs is trading at about 6%, which is near to their historical high yield, okay, which is very attractive, right? I mean, this is only if you believe that people will start to go back to the mall once phase 3 comes in, which I think Singapore is pretty much on the track to go into the phase 3. So to me, it's pretty much a low-hanging fruit. But this is not to forget that CapitaLand Integrated Commercial Trust is no longer just a mall, but it's also office space. So you're also owning a part of those owning Grade A offices in Singapore, right? Which, of course, at this stage, the risk is that people may not go to the office to start to work. I mean, most of us have been working from home, right? And this is probably a risk that I think people are generally concerned with, right? And yeah, my take with office, like working from home, is that it's definitely going to change once the pandemic is over. Probably most of us will do a flexi working. I mean, we have had long discussion about office REIT in the other roundtable discussion, which I think I will just link it up in the discussion on top. But my take is that I think the demand for office space, the pressure is definitely there in the short term, but because of the nature of the office, it's a cyclical sector, and a lot of companies are actually hit by the pandemic. Okay, so they are shrinking in terms of office space, but at the same time, we are also looking at the green shoots like companies like ByteDance, Tencent, or even Amazon. They are actually expanding in Singapore to reach out to the Southeast Asia market. Okay, so on the net basis, short term they are likely going to get pressure, but mid term to long term, and I think they are fairly attractive at this point.
Yeah. So this 6% is based on an annual, the last DPU.
Yes.
Last annual DPU.
Last DPU of the FY 2019, which is before COVID-19.
Yeah.
So this year, 2020, definitely you're not going to get a 6% because there was actually rental rebate was given out to the tenant. Okay, so that kind of affected their rental income across the board actually. Government actually tell the landlords in Singapore to give out 2 months rental rebate to eligible SME tenants in Singapore, right? So because of that, there was a dip in terms of net rental income, net property income. Also, some of the REITs actually hold back in terms of the capital.
So if you take the current DPU, it's not exactly 6%, but if you base it on the last annual FY19 DPU, and you assume that is going to go back to those levels, at these current prices, you're getting a 6% yield.
Yes,
which is pretty attractive.
Pretty attractive.
Pretty attractive for a very well-established REIT like CICT, right? Capital Integrated Commercial Trust.
But so hopefully vaccines get approved, and then most of us get vaccinated.
But one thing I want to say is, as much as we are sharing ideas here right now, when the vaccine just came out, right, it does, like I heard from a radio DJ in 89.3, he actually said that when the vaccine come out, right, it does not save people. Getting vaccinated save people. So getting people being vaccinated, right, takes some time to happen. As much as we want to share ideas and the ideas come, but this idea may take some time before it will be realized, right? Because it may take maybe 2 or 3 years before everyone get vaccinated by the vaccine. Yep.
Yeah, and there's some people who don't want to be vaccinated as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you go first. But then I think mostly in Singapore, I think we're all gonna play our part. Hopefully, right, and get vaccinated. So, but you're looking at CICT because it's probably one of the most well-established retail REITs.
And apart from that, even without the vaccine, the Singapore government has been managing COVID-19 very well. So, even today, I'm going out to shopping malls. I feel very safe and comfortable. Of course, there are some inconveniences that you need to do your safe entry, check-in and check-out, right? And then you have to wear masks. Apart from that, I think generally very safe in Singapore. So I think we are pretty much well on our way to phase 3. And in fact, by the time you watch this, we might be in the phase 3.
Hopefully, maybe. Yeah. So you're looking at CICT. So what about you, Kenny? What stocks are you looking at in your area?
So I mainly look at the US stocks. So like during the pandemic, a lot of people are focused on Amazon, online shopping, and Alibaba. But the thing is, a lot of people neglected the retail stocks in general, because not all retail stocks are made the same, because like Usman said, there are some retailers are actually like low-hanging fruits, right? For you
like physical retail, is it?
Yeah, physical retail, because you can't replace physical retail, because retailing is basically a therapy for most people. You walk and you go in, and you cannot replace the experience of trying things and putting on things. So one particular company that I'm looking at is basically Ulta, and the reason why Ulta is basically pretty much like Sephora in Asia. I'm sure many of you know that they sell their skincare products as well as cosmetics, but because in this pandemic environment, most people are wearing masks, so there's no need for them to purchase cosmetics, right?
And just do half the face.
And cosmetic is one of those things where it produces the highest margins for them and produce about 15% of their revenue. And this is really a great company, because once we're over this post-pandemic environment, people will tend to buy more cosmetics. And when it comes to cosmetics, it's all about the feel on your skin, and you have to experience it in person. And at the same time, people will not just purchase one color, right? When it comes to cosmetics, there are so many colors and so many brands that you're able to buy, so people tend to spend more in the area. But right now, during the COVID situation, people are spending more time pampering themselves, so they're focusing more on skincare and having those like spa kind of bombs kind of thing, where you put inside the water and then everything will just smell really good.
You need a bathtub for that, though.
Yeah.
I think but we don't have that in Singapore, where a lot of people would have a bath in the US, right?
Yeah. So that's Ulta, and then another two companies that I'm looking at is basically TJ Maxx and Ross Stores. So I don't think you have stores like this in Singapore, but TJ Maxx and Ross Stores is basically companies that they purchase all these designer items from departmental stores that have excess inventories, or manufacturers that over-manufactured certain items, and they have these excess inventories that they want to offload. So TJ Maxx and Ross will purchase them at
so these are discount retailers.
Discount retailers, a very discounted price. So you can find like fossil bags at like $100 instead of $300 in store. And sometimes they buy out of seasons products too. So once it's out of season, they just purchase. So this kind of thing, treasure hunting experience, because every store has different inventories, right? They have different inventories, and then it's unique to that store. It's not something that you can easily take pictures and load it online, So it's really a treasure hunting experience. You go there and you say, oh, I found a good deal, I like this. And they have limited number of items. For example, like certain coats, you might probably find just one of them in the store.
I actually been to one of the both Rose stores and TJX, Marshall, they have one store in Vancouver. So I was there a couple of years ago. I mean, I had first hand on doing the treasure hunting. Every stores that I've been to at the time, you kind of like find different items, and their prices are generally like Under Armour. They are discounted by 75%, which is authentic brands, but they're selling at a huge discount.
Did you enjoy the experience?
Yeah. I did, and not just me, but my wife. So in the end,
I don't like doing this stuff. I just want to get in, buy the stuff that I want, and get out. So that's for me. I just don't understand people who like just spend an hour or so looking for like.
No, you don't have to, because they have categories for you. Sports, and then depending on your size, so you just size S. You can just go to flip those size whether you have it. But of course, if you have certain brands in mind, certain items that you like and sizes, you can simply go to the store, right? But if you want to do bargain huntings, again, buying cheap stuff, you can always go to one of these stores.
I think some people enjoy it.
Yeah, some people
is like
enjoy
the
it.
process of finding, like Kenny was saying, a treasure hunt.
Yeah. So I mean, it's best part of your shopping experience if you're in overseas. Maybe I was in the mood, but if you ask me to shop in Singapore, I probably won't. So it depends on the mood that you have at the time as well.
But I think for all these discount stores, they may not be affected when the COVID pandemic is over. But I think for companies like maybe Ulta, they may get affected, right? Because I think this COVID-19 situation have really changed the way I do shopping, you know. So in the past, I tend to go to the shop, you know, you instant gratification and you just buy off the stores already. And what I'm doing now is I basically go to the stores, I go and test the product, I look at the product, I say, oh, this is good. Then I go back home, I go online and just purchase the same product, I send it right to my house. So I think that may be one of the risks for Ulta. I think maybe Kenny, you can share with us your view on what you think about it, right?
I understand your concerns, but nowadays, right, for retailers, it's not enough just to be an offline retailer. They go through the omni-channel, right? They have the online, but at the same time, it's not enough being online, but they have to be price competitive as well. So there's a lot of, like, for example, Best Buy is basically an electronic stores in the US. They have this price match, where you see something online, they will match the prices. So it's very important that for Ulta to be price competitive in terms of how they price their products, and at the same time they have this rewards program. When it comes to Ulta or Sephora, it's all about building the loyalty, and the more you buy, the more you go up in terms of the importance, right? You become more of a VIP client, you get more benefits, you get birthday gifts and so on. So these are very attractive for most people. You also can think of this in terms of a credit card, right? When you try to accumulate as much mileage points as you go, and then you just keep spending on that one card so that you get enough, so that it will sponsor your next business flight to your next holiday destination, right?
So what you're saying, because I think that's a major question that most people have when it comes to physical retail, that COVID-19 has accelerated like online shopping habits. People are more comfortable shopping online. So like something like Ulta, you would say that because it's cosmetics, maybe people still want to go down and test the products and see the colors on the skin, and that's something that's experiential that you can't really replace off online. And then you do that first, and then you still can go online and still buy from Ulta, right? They have an e-store and all that.
Yes. So from my understanding, because my mom, my sister, they all shop for cosmetics and stuff, right? It's very important that the feel on the skin is very important, because some of them are probably more allergic, or it will produce more oils on the skin, and then it just doesn't go well with the skin. And of course, under the lighting, you just want to see how the color looks on your skin, and all these things you cannot replicate with an online app. Where you can see the color on your skin, but you cannot feel it. You cannot feel it, and you cannot. That's why you cannot replace this kind of.
But once they stick to it, they can still just carry on buying it online from Ulta if they want to.
Yes, but at the same time, women generally tend to be more experiential. They want to try the latest product, right?
Well, in China, it could be a different story. I mean, because of the big industry in China now, live streaming is really huge over there. So I think there are quite a few big influencer in China that they do live stream, and then they sell cosmetics product, and they sell like hotcakes. You know, they have a king of lipstick in China, which make millions of dollars by selling lipstick.
And he's a guy, right?
He's a guy.
Oh my god！ 这是美宝莲所有的角色口红，完全不会拔干的哑光604号色，一年四季都可以驾驭的颜色，妖精的感觉。
So if live streaming in I think Western countries start to pick up, I think this is potentially could be a risk for Ulta. But at this stage, I think live streaming isn't really. But
that's
popular.
what Kylie Jenner kind of did, right? She kind of launched a cosmetic brand. She's in the US, and based on her a social media following alone, she built, I think, $1 billion brand just based on her following on Instagram and whatever it was. So that could be a threat to Ulta as well.
I think they have an exclusive agreement with Kylie Jenner, actually. Then so sometimes it depends on Sephora and Ulta. So sometimes they will try to nab all these influencers or celebrities and make their products exclusive to the store. So whenever you want certain things, you go to Ulta. If you want certain things, you have to go to Sephora.
Okay, all right. But I think it's good. It's a good discussion, because any company, however great it is, there's always something that you want to look out for, make sure it's okay. And these are the things that we're discussing about all the time. And I think the other thing that you were talking about was the payments, credit cards and all that. So tell us a bit more about that one.
Oh, so I really like Visa, MasterCard, and especially American Express because a large part of their revenue actually declined because of the decrease in cross-border spending because people are not traveling, they're not using the cards as much. And these usually generate them a lot of revenue because on top of cross-border spending, they also make conversions fees, forex fees. So when they convert for you, they make the extra fee. So specifically, if people are looking to invest in banks, actually American Express is one of the things that they could look into because American Express is not only providing the credit card network, but at the same time, they also extend credits to people. At the same time, right now, most of the people they are extending credit to are basically wealthy people with good credit scores. So for them to survive this pandemic, they have no issue. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of cash. And
they have a loyal customers.
Oh yeah, that's right. Loyal customer, and you accumulate points, and you can go for all the lounges. So they're basically known for travel, right? So they will definitely benefit a lot as we head.
So Rusmi is a loyal customer, is it? What is it?
Oh, yeah, Amex, yeah.
Amex,
But obviously, when it comes to credit card, you usually go nowadays I go for the one that give me the best offers in terms of more miles conversion or cashback for some people. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, payments, credit cards. I think that's quite easy to see because I think once the pandemic has gone by, people are more going out there to spend. Economy is going to gear up again. You just see people spending more money. Payments are going to go up, and then of course the credit cards are going to benefit. Yeah, especially as travel as well. If people start traveling, and then you have people spending overseas and all that because credit cards are just going to benefit overall once the economy picks up.
Especially when there's pent-up travel demand, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So in my case, I'm going to bring up one company I'm looking at as well, which is basically Booking Holding. I think when it comes to travel, there's so many things that you can look at. There's like the airlines, hotels, cruises and all that, right? But I think the best way to invest in travel is in the online travel agents, OTAs like Booking, Expedia, all these are famous on Agoda, which is actually owned by Booking because these are the places where they kind of aggregate all this travel demand and supply. And they have this network effect that's going on. If you go, I think if you just look at your own behavior, if you go online, you're going to look for a hotel, you don't exactly go to a particular hotel unless you really like the hotel or maybe on a business travel. Like business travelers, maybe they just keep going to a Marriott because they just stay there, they get in, they get out. But if you're going to be a tourist, you kind of want to explore, right?
Agoda, I use Agoda.
You use Agoda. I use Booking all the time. Yeah, you just want to kind of explore. You're going to Italy, you're going to France, you're going to China. You're looking at different hotels and experiences you want to stay in. And an online travel agent gives you that range of supply that you can't find on any singular hotel website. So people keep going back to all these OTAs because this is where you find the most choices. And they give you the best prices as well. So they have a very entrenched position in the industry. So I like Booking. The other big one is Expedia. Expedia is more US centric. So they're very, very big in the US. But the US is just one market. And for Booking, they do very well internationally. They're actually very good in Europe and all that. And the reason for that is because, Booking, number one, is a European company. They were actually bought by Priceline, right, which is an American company. But Booking itself has its roots in Europe. And Europe, as you know, is kind of more of like a fragmented market, right? You guys been to Europe before, right? Yeah. So you have different hotels, you have boutique hotels. You don't really have like those huge hotel chains that you have in the US. So because you have different hotel providers, you have different countries, different languages, different customs, different markets to understand, Booking has because of where they started in Europe, they understand all these things. And they're able to create a business model that allows them to, find all these different hotels for you. Whereas in Expedia, have more experience with just like the hotel chains and all that. So I think Booking has an advantage over Expedia in this sense. So I really like Booking myself. So I've been looking at Booking for the longest time.
But Booking share price has went up already, right? Because of the vaccine.
That's the thing. So I think
so in fact, not just Booking, some companies
so many companies
we were talking in this round table have actually gone up in prices, right? So even Alta has actually gone up.
So the thing with Booking is that the news on the Pfizer vaccine, right? I think it jumped more than 20% on news of the Pfizer vaccine. That was it. It was just the market has already priced it in. So I think that's the thing with a lot of the US companies actually that have gone up. So
but the Asian companies are still lagging behind. So there's still values in the Asian companies as compared to the US. people are switching out from the growth stocks to the value stocks now. That's why you can see the recent spike in value stocks. But then the US also, value stocks are back to normal, close to the pre-COVID. Whereas the Asian value stocks, they're still,
catching up.
I mean, there's a lot of room for them to catch up.
Yeah, so I think that would be the question that people would have. Some of these stocks that we are talking about have already popped. Like Booking is one great example.
Yeah.
Like Vidya was saying, the US. So I think people will keep asking right now, and watching this discussion is, so what happens if the prices have already gone up? Is there still an opportunity?
Yeah. I think the recent announcement of the vaccines is just a booster, right? I mean, a few months down the road, I'm pretty sure that the steam will die off, and then the prices will back to. It probably won't be as low as compared to the March low in the 2020. But I think I'm looking at, because the reality will kick in, and it takes time for people to get vaccinated. It takes time for vaccine to get distributed out to the whole world, right? I mean, one of the biggest, largest vaccine manufacturers, Serum Institute of India, just says that there won't be enough vaccines until the end of 2024, right? And in order for the world to get immune, or in fact the certain communities to get immune, you need to reach a level of 70% according to WHO, right? So to reach that level, I think it's going to take time. I'll probably take a couple of years, and even once you have everyone get vaccinated, it takes time for people to start to consume back the probably travel, for example, and the real result will probably only be seen in the 2023, 2024 onwards for a full recovery to the pre-COVID level, right? So that is going to take time, but now the market seems like to be pricing in a way that COVID is over, everyone is get vaccinated. So I expect that a few months down the road, the market continue to get to be weakened, after this good news is over.
You don't think that they will price it in with the expectation that these vaccines are going to roll out, even though it's going to happen in 2022, 23, 24? It's like kind of like expected, unless there's bad news. They say the vaccine trials fail. Then there's a new piece of information that comes in that changes the landscape altogether. But if nothing changes, wouldn't you think that because the market is so forward-looking, that they know that these vaccines are going to be rolled out sooner or later, and the market is just going to trend in that direction, upwards?
I think the market can be wrong too. They are forward-looking, but then the future might not pan out the way that they imagine. So for example, is airlines. So a lot of people are crazy about airlines because, once this is over, everybody will start traveling. But the fact is, when will everyone be fully vaccinated and safe enough for us to travel, right? Generally, and even right now with the air travel bubble, it's really a hassle. You have to book to do the test, and when you go over to Hong Kong, like Singapore to Hong Kong, and you have to test again, and if you get the virus, right, you have to pay everything out of your own pocket. So I think nobody will really want to travel if there's so much risk and so much hassle when it comes to traveling. So from now till then, when people start traveling, the economics or the fundamentals of the airline business will continue to deteriorate because they still have to pay parking, maintenance, right? And especially the cruise as well. So people might get excited right now. The price might reflect that it's going to improve and everything will get better. But 6 months to a year down the road, if that does not change fundamentally, and if the fundamentals continue to deteriorate, I believe the price of the stock will also go down accordingly.
There will be some correction of some sort. That's what you think.
Yes.
Okay.
But it won't go to the previous low.
No, I don't think so.
And then there's another virus which is different.
That will require. So the thing with market shocks is that it has to be a shock, right? Because if you kind of know this kind of bad news is going to happen, people kind of buffer against that. But if something like this is a shock, then you get a reaction like what happened in March and April. The markets just came down.
I think the only thing that will shock the market right now is the vaccine trial fail.
Yeah, it's like everything fails. But that's what I think is if it's like the market is forward looking, it's like the vaccines are going to be successful. Unless there's, like I said, a new piece of information comes in that changes the landscape. I would think the market will price in this expectation that the pandemic is going to be behind us in the future because the market is forward-looking. That's my opinion anyway. Yeah. So these are just our opinions. Please don't take this as the gospel truth or anything like that. There's so many different ways you can look at things. But I think the major key here is still to always look at great businesses.
Yep.
Whether or not the market is going to go up or down, we can't really predict that.
Whether there's a pandemic or not, and if you want to invest in the businesses that will continue to grow
Yeah.
5 years, 10 years down the road. Yeah.
So I think this is part of the discussion that we're looking at. We don't look at high quality businesses that we can kind of like have a look at, and if the price is right, it can kind of like have a look at that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think I just want to cover a little bit of Asia. How are the valuations there in Asia right now with regards to like the REITs and major Cineplex, because they're Asian companies?
Yep. So I think the recent vaccine news, the Asian market so react. They went up, but they don't went up as crazy as the US market, where like booking went up like suddenly 14% when the vaccine news came out, right? So the Asian markets do went up, but they went up about 4 or 5%, right, or 1%, 2%.
It's a lot slower.
Yeah, it's a lot slower compared to the company. US market. So that's why what we're saying is that there's still a lot of value in Asia for investors to look at. Yeah.
So there's still like some like runway.
Yes,
for
opportunity
for the stock price to recover to pre-COVID levels in some of the Asian stocks that you're looking at.
Yes, correct.
Whereas in the US, it's like booking is already back to pre-pandemic prices. It's like kind of like priced in already.
Yes, correct.
Same for Alta, right, Kenny?
Yes, that's right. So they're mostly either trading at fair value or slightly above fair value.
I would think
Alta still haven't back to pre-COVID price, but they are very close to it.
very close.
Very close.
Booking has crossed it already. Like, I think it's like 2% back compared year to date. 2% up. So it's like it's back. So
hopefully, next few months, the markets start to lose steam, and then prices come back down again. You guys know what are the stocks that you can.
But there's always opportunity around when all these events start happening, right? If the vaccine really come out, the tech stocks will be beaten down, and that creates an opportunity for you to look at the tech stock, because now the growth stocks are running, which is the tech stocks are running like crazy up, and now because of the vaccine news, they are coming down now because people are switching, like I said, from the growth stocks to the value stocks.
Yeah.
So there's always opportunity for you to switch, just that you must know when to look at it and all this.
But at the end of the day, you want to look at the great businesses
Yes,
you want to invest in. So I think we've done quite a bit of discussion today in this roundtable. Some of the ideas, investment ideas that we brought up. Have a look at them yourself. Always do your due diligence. We're not making any recommendations to buy or sell anything. This is for you to have more ideas, to have a look out there in the certain industries and companies. And it's really up to you to make your own investment decisions, whether they are suitable for you. All right. So once again, I really hoped you enjoyed this discussion. You really picked up some new ideas and learned something along the way. With me once again, I have Rusmin, Victor, and Kenny. My name is Adam. We're all from The Fifth Person. So thank you for watching this. And once again, if you liked this discussion, just hit the like button, smash it as many times as you can, and subscribe to our channel, because we have a lot more roundtable discussions along the way, because there's so many things to discuss. And we want to have fresh videos come to you as fresh as possible as well. Yeah. So thank you so much. Any questions, put them in the comment section.
Any ideas, share with us.
Any ideas as well you are looking at in certain industries that you're looking at, put them in the comment box. We'd love to have a conversation with you. Anything that you want to discuss with us, we'd love to have that as well. So thank you once again, and we'll see you around.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.